Today I wanted to talk about my experience of the day-to-day running of a business as someone who is neurodivergent. Hi everyone, if you don't know me already, my name is Lee. I am an ADHDer, possible autism as well. I need to unpack that separately. I'm also an entrepreneur and business owner. I am a leadership coach and I specialise in growing the careers and the businesses of neurodivergent leaders and entrepreneurs. If you'd like to know a little bit more about what coaching is, I recently did a video on that which you can watch up here. But today I want to talk about the day-to-day running of a business as someone who is neurospicy and give you a little bit of a rundown of what it looks like. To start with, I have a lot of ideas about the big picture running of a business, and I've actually addressed that already in a video last week, which you can find again up here. But today I wanted to get into the nitty-gritty every day, what it looks like, and how my neurodivergence really interplays with me executing and getting things done. Overall, I think I found my place as a neurodivergent entrepreneur and business owner, and I actually really enjoy it. But that doesn't mean it's easy. In fact, it's actually really hard, but worth it. So let's get into this and talk about it a bit more. I want to start by talking about a word that is a little bit maybe controversial. It's a little bit loaded, and that word is productive. And the reason why I think it's a little bit loaded is because I feel like it's often used in the context of not enough, not productive enough. It then brings on a lot of emotions of guilt and shame. So it's a very loaded word, but it's also one that I find myself a little bit drawn to. I have this draw towards productivity that makes it really difficult for me to relax and chill out. In some ways it's good, in a lot of ways it's also not good. That was kind of a vague way to start, but in practice what this actually means is that I can work some weird hours. Now I don't stay up to like 2 a.m. working on my business. I actually physically don't think I can do that, and I'm too much of a lover for a routine. But what it does mean is I can spend Sunday morning chilling out with some friends, maybe playing some games, trying to relax, and all of a sudden I get this kind of itch at the back of my brain. I don't really know how to describe it. It's this draw. I think it comes from ADHD restlessness, and it means I actually want to get on and do something for my business. What should have been a chill Sunday afternoon actually turns on into me jumping online and doing something that I feel the need to get out of me for my business in that moment. So when I'm talking about ADHD and working weird hours, it's kind of natural to assume that the reverse would happen and I just don't work in the time that I'm meant to be working. Yeah, some days that's true. Some days I'm really lacking executive function ability. I try and get things done and it doesn't happen. But actually I'm quite a creature of habit. So I will try and stick to that 9 till 5, as if I've ever worked 9 till 5, it's always been longer, as much as I can really. And it kind of means that I can end up working quite long hours some weeks because I just want to get stuff done, and so I do just do as much as I can. One of the things that's super important to me, and one of the things I love about entrepreneurship, is having control of my time. So I get to pick what I do on particular days. I get to pick when I'm available to coach. I get to pick when I'm going to edit my videos and all that kind of stuff, and I love having control of my time. It also means that I can pick the time that I spend on other stuff as well. Practicing my piano every day is super important to me. So I managed to build a schedule where I have time to do that. So as I said, I get a lot done just because I'm in control of that time. Now, I'm still an ADHDer, so if my friend sends me a message like I'm going for a walk, would you like to come with and get a bit of exercise? Then yeah, of course I'm going to do that. But if it turns into a whole afternoon, that's because I've chosen it to, not because I've just lost track of time. However, I will say that this being super controlled over my schedule, over my time, actually does have some downsides. One of which being if something comes along to mess up with my schedule, I get really stressed. I remember a little while ago I was doing a filming day and I was ready to go. I'd set everything up and I'd forgotten that the cleaner was coming, because I pay for a cleaner because I outsource the things that I'm really bad at and it would take me twice as long to do on my own. But I hadn't planned for the cleaner to come that day, which meant that I couldn't do the filming that I needed to do, which meant that my whole day was ruined because I was upset that I couldn't do what I needed to do that day. What you might have guessed based on what I've just said is that I also just don't know when to stop. It's great for getting things done, but it does mean that I burn myself out quite a lot. I get to the point where sometimes I'm just sat on the sofa at 9 o'clock at night, just staring straight ahead because I can't really function super well anymore. It also affects my sleep. I'm an ADHD anyway, so my brain is like this every time I try and sleep, and it has been my whole life. But if I'm working until 11 p.m, which I often do, that means that my brain is still spinning when I try and sleep. And that makes it twice as hard to actually get to sleep, which makes it harder for me to get up in the morning to get back on with work, which means I get annoyed that I'm not doing my routine. And you can see how this kind of builds into a bit of frustration. I am aware that I'm walking the line very close to neurodivergent burnout, and that is a real risk that I have to contend with in my everyday life as an entrepreneur, because it is just me. And so if I get myself to burnout, then the business doesn't get to continue. I'm fortunate that I have an amazing support network. I have great friends, I have a great partner, I have great coaches that help me out with this. I have great strategies here, but something that I do have to be aware of in my everyday life is my tendency to push and drive, and how that can really lead to burnout. Part of the reason why I walk this line so closely is because I'm impatient. Another ADHD trait. When I get an idea that I want to do, I will just dive in and start executing. This whole YouTube channel, the idea came about, and I had the whole channel set up, a video recorded, 5 scripts written, and the film videos shot with them within about 2 weeks. Because when I get an idea, I run with it and I want to get it done as quickly as I can. I once heard the phrase, impatient with actions, patient with results. My response to that is I'm really good at the first half. I'm really not good at the second half. One battle that I have to fight on a daily basis is that things aren't moving fast enough. Things are never moving fast enough. It takes time to build a successful business. It takes many years to get to the place where we are satisfied with how it's going, and maybe we never are. But it means we have to be patient. It means we have to take those moments to find those smaller wins to celebrate, so that we don't just burn ourselves out striving, so that we're not feeling unsatisfied with what we're doing. And that's something that I actually find really hard. And that kind of leads me on to the last point that I wanted to make actually. This is really hard. Really hard. I don't think I was prepared for how hard it would be to do this on my own. When people talk about entrepreneurship being hard, I always took that to be the long hours and the time that it takes to pay off. And yes, that's true. That's absolutely true. But the part that's hardest for me is the emotional side of this. It's getting discouraged when things don't move quick enough. It's getting frustrated with myself when I'm not able to perform to the standard that I would like to, because I have pushed too hard and burnt myself out. Doing this on your own means that there's not someone there with you to pull you out when you're in a funk, to take the journey, to share the ups and the downs. I have amazing people around me. As I said, my support network is fantastic, but that's not the same as having someone riding that roller coaster with you. And because of that, one of the things that I really need to work on is my mindset. Constantly. It's something that I have to think about on an almost daily basis. It's one of the big things that we cover in coaching actually, is how to keep your mindset in a place where you can keep on moving forwards and you're not giving up because you are discouraged. My amazing brain is what got me to where I am today, and I love it. With all its quirks, all its challenges, and all its fantastic parts. My brain is what got me here today, and I love it. And that means that I need to look after it. Of course, I'm just one business owner with one flavour of neurodivergence, but I wanted to give you an idea behind the curtain of how that plays out for me. On balance, I do love being an entrepreneur, but the path I've chosen is hard, and I can hold those two things and then be true at the same time. I love it, but this is really, really hard. I'd be super interested in hearing your challenges in the comments. Please let me know what resonated with you. Please give me a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe, because I'm going to be doing so much more content around neurodivergence, leadership, and entrepreneurship. If you're interested in some coaching yourself, then I do coaching, and you can find out more about that on my website, ttncoaching.com. That is it for today's video. I really look forward to seeing you in the next one, and thank you so much for watching.